Hello, and welcome back to my podcast, The Hayley Osborne Show. I am so glad to have you in my ears. No, to have me in your ears. Well, we got off to a great start. I'm not editing it out though. Anyway, I'm glad that you're here listening to this week's episode of the podcast because today I want to share with you something a little bit differently. Okay. And that is how I make wellness work while running a business and raising babies. Now, it has been a challenge to rework my routine. And for someone who is, I am so driven to stay healthy, and I'm always really interested in like different tips and tricks and how I can like biohack my life and, just excuse me. It always happens. As soon as I start recording, I'm just like, oh my God. Anyway, so I've always been really interested in health and well-being and wellness, and I keep pretty fit. And I guess like today's episode is a bit more personal. And honestly, I think it's been like in my heart for a while to share an episode like this with you. And we're talking about wellness, specifically what it looks like for me to prioritize my health while I'm running this business and while I'm raising small humans, because I think that some of you might really benefit from this. And whether you have small humans or not, some of the things that I do, you might actually think, oh, that's a really great idea to add that into my day in small doses to be able to make me feel better and to be able to make me operate better. And, if you follow me on my Instagram stories, you'll always see that I share when I'm exercising and how it makes me feel and how, if I go for a run, when I come back or I do weights or whatever that looks like, whatever I'm doing that day, because I do mix it up a lot, whatever that looks like, I know that the next hour that I'm at my desk after that, I will be able to write like 3 blogs in an hour, as opposed to 3 blogs over 2 or 3 hours, had I not done some exercise and moved my body in whatever way, shape, or form. So it could be like a soft movement, like walking or yoga, or it could be a bit harder, like weights or running. So let's face it, when you're running a business and you're raising tiny people, when you're doing them at the same time, it's a lot. The juggle is real, and I'm not going to sugarcoat. It's not the easiest thing I've ever done. Okay. I'm not pretending that I'm a health coach or I'm a wellness guru or anything like that. But I'm someone who really values feeling good in my body and staying sharp in my mind so that I can show up fully for you and for my clients and for my kids and for myself. So I do a lot of like reading and learning and upskilling in the health and wellness space. And I've kind of done that forever. Like I joke that, I'm going to be a nutritionist one day, but I'm not, or a naturopath or something like that. I love what I do. And I do that as knowledge building for myself and how I can be better from the inside out because I want to live a long time. I want to be here for my kids forever. And if anything, they've just made me want to be more healthy and do all the things. So today, I wanted to take you behind the scenes of how I make my wellness work, which might help you, okay? Because that's what this podcast is all about. It's about sharing things with you. And I think this fits under the confidence piece, okay? Because when I'm well in my body and my mind and my soul, everything works better. So in the middle of business life, family life, and everything in between, my health and wellness is my top priority. And it's such a funny thing because when I've had my first child, I was like, he comes first and, I come last or whatever. But now that I've had my third child, it's such a funny shift that if I am not fulfilled first, and I don't mean like massages and, like all those things. I mean like cup of tea, gone to the toilet, like simple, fulfilling things, then I am no good to anyone. Okay, so mama has to stay healthy. And this is what this episode is all about. And, I'm no good to my clients either. So let's start here. I think and I truly believe that when your health is super strong, everything else becomes easier. Your decision making improves, your energy lasts longer, your patience stretches further. Your creativity flows better. And as a business owner, there is nothing more important than those things. But as a woman, especially mums and business owners, our health can be so easily pushed to the back and pushed to the bottom of the list. And I've been there and I've had to rebuild my body 3 times after babies. I'm telling you, that postpartum recovery is no joke. Okay. And especially after the third one, your body changes, your sleep is broken badly, and your priorities just shift massively because all of a sudden, I've gone from putting myself first forever to now fourth. I am the fourth one in line, in a long line, right? So you think, how do you not put yourself first? Well, if the baby needs me and needs his nappy changed, and then the other two need to go to the bathroom and they need my help, but I need to go, I come last. Okay, so like it's very hard to understand when you're not in it, but your priorities do shift massively. And what I've realized through every season of rebuilding is this: if I don't take care of me, everything else around me wobbles. And that is a terrible feeling. And I've been there lots of times. And now I just feel like I'm wiser. I feel like I'm smarter. So this episode is really a love note, really, to any woman who's doing the most and wondering how on earth do you fit your wealth and your wellness and your health inside of everything. Okay. So what does wellness look like for me right now? It's not a full morning routine with like journaling and meditating and matcha and all the things. I mean, I kind of like those things. I don't love them, but in practice, I've got kids with me before 7 a.m. Okay. So I think through the day, wellness for me is about those micro moments, and it's asking myself, what do I need today to feel good? What do I need today to feel grounded? What do I need to do for myself to feel clear, to feel strong? And then doing what I can, not doing what I should. Okay, because there's a lot of shoulds out there, and there's a lot of things that people say you should do this, you should do that. No, no, no. It's about doing what I can and what makes me feel good. So I've got a bit of a list of things that I do, and I'm hoping that in turn, this is going to help you in your business as well, regardless of the season that you're in, because I do know that when you're healthy, everything else is more abundant. Okay. So you're growing your business to make money. You're growing your business to make change. You're growing your business to build a stronger economy for us to live in and all the things. But if you're not healthy, you can't do those things. Okay. So what you can, not what you should. And some of these things might not fit for you. And that's fine. But at least they're like giving you ideas and planting the seed. And what can you do to add into your day that doesn't take a long time? Because it shouldn't. Okay. So one thing I do is I move my body most days. Okay. So I either do running or strength training, with weights. I either go on the road to run, which is a really quick fix, fast hit. It's running for me. I know running is very wearing on the body, but it's also mentally good for my mental health to be out and to run in the open air. Okay, so strength training is awesome. Sometimes I do it in the gym, and most times I actually do it at home. So I've got a program that I follow on YouTube, and I found that when I do that, even if it is for 30 minutes, and that's kind of all I do, I know that I'm building muscle. I know that it burns all day. I know that I'm getting stronger physically. And what that does is make me more resilient mentally. Now, it completely shifts my mood and my energy. So the other day, as a little side story, I dropped my son at kindy and he had a dress up day, but my middle child, he's too little. So he has to come home with me. And he lost his absolute marbles. And I didn't take the pram out the car, and I had the baby on my hip because I parked really close to the door of the kindy, and he was not okay with leaving. And he had a full-blown meltdown on the floor of the kindy, and I had the baby on my hip. And that then therefore put me in, I was the calm among the chaos, right? So I feel like whenever they get crazier or whatever that looks like, they're tiny. Whenever that happens, I become more and more grounded and more relaxed to try and diffuse the situation. But I couldn't pick him up. like I would normally because I didn't have the pram because I thought I'm not going to be long. It's just going to be a drop. It wasn't like that. And so that left me feeling not okay inside my body. And so I came home, I did a workout, and my mood and my energy completely shifted. And I was such a great mum for the rest of the day. And anything that came through for the business, I was able to handle it because I know that I had forced myself to work out. And that's the reason why I did. If anyone was watching on Instagram, that's the reason why I did a workout last week or whenever this episode comes out. I think it's in a week's time. That is the reason, because I need to level my own energy to show up for everybody else. Okay. The next one I want to talk about is I eat food that fuels my body. So I'm really intentional about what I eat because I know how quickly poor food choices drain my energy and they just make me feel like shit. And I must say I have a sweet tooth. That's okay. I think everything is good in moderation. And I know some people don't share those views. That's okay. I do. So I love a good sweet treat. Love, love, love. But I know that throughout the day, I need to eat well and I do not consume any sugar before lunchtime. So I might have a little sweet treat in the afternoon sometimes, but most of the time, no. I think, it just changes. It changes how you show up. And I'm at home a lot. So there's like an abundance of things that I could choose from. So I have to be that strong-willed that I don't do those things because I know that it drains my energy. So I drink probably 2.5 liters of water a day, and that changes everything too. Another thing that I do is take a collagen supplement. Okay. So I use a brand called Vita Glow, if anyone was wondering. And, I've noticed a massive difference in my skin, my hair, my nails, and it could be a combination of a couple of things. So I'm still breastfeeding as a note. Okay. So it could, like, there's lots of things that, yeah, there's lots of things that go into that, but I do use that and I do love it. And it's such a simple addition to my routine. And I love how it supports me from the inside out. Usually have a coconut water with my lunch, and that's supposed to be really good for your skin. So I just add it in there, and it's kind of like just a little habit stack to my like lunch routine because I was thinking, how am I going to remember to take this bloody thing every single day? Like how? Because I love my coffee in the morning. And I just won't add anything to that because it needs to be whole. I have water in the morning as well. Sometimes I add some lemon, but I'm not that girl. Like I'll just I want to be the lemon drinker, the warm, maybe that's something that I do in the future, but this is what I'm doing right now. Um, Another thing that I do is I body brush a few times a week, and it's such a small act, but it makes me feel so refreshed. It makes me feel so invigorated. And I have done that for at least, I want to say 20 years. Okay. And I have continued to do that after having kids. And it's just my way of like lighting myself up. And if like you got to start from your feet upwards, working your way to your heart and all the things. So it just gets your blood pumping and it just feels so, so nice. Another thing that I do is use a face mask a couple of times a week. So usually on a Sunday, my reset Sundays. And it's funny, I was talking to my nieces the other day and they were like, we do this reset Sunday and you should do it too, Annie Hayley. And so I've started calling it reset Sundays because of them. And I kind of did 2 face masks a week anyway, but now it's like a thing. So on a Sunday, I do that. And midweek, I do another one. Now, I don't always use like a fancy face mask. Sometimes I get them from the chemist. And sometimes I do have like nice quality face masks, but I think it's a nice combination. So here's the key though. I habit stack that because how on earth am I going to put a face mask on a couple of times a week with 3 small children? So I usually put it on after I have a shower. So while I am hanging washing or doing some work, it's just a tiny habit that's actually become such a game changer because it feels really luxury. It's the smallest thing though, but it fits into my real life. And I think that is the difference. Okay. Another thing that I've been doing, so I wanted to include these few little health and wellness things into this podcast because I've been it's been on my mind for such a long time to share more personal things with you that I do that help me be better in business. Because I get a lot like, how are you doing this with three small kids? How are you running such a successful business with three small kids? People ask me offline all the time, how do you do it? There's a lot of things that come into this and not just being healthy, but I wanted to share the healthy element of how I show up, how I'm so switched, how I you know, if I do get 1 or 2 hours of time a day to be in the office, uh, I just have to turn it on. I can't be like 30 minutes of fuffing around thinking like, I'll get into it in a minute. It doesn't work like that for me because I don't have a choice. I have to get into everything straight away and start doing stuff. And these are the things I do religiously outside of that that help me show up when I need to. And that's the important part. So, one other thing I want to share with you is, and this is take it with a pinch of salt, this is just what I do that makes me feel good. And I know that it's been making a difference, but I've been using Trini London moisturizer and all of the things lately. And I've actually got her Plump Up microneedle tool. Okay, it's small. You can purchase it. I think it was about 100 and something. I don't know. Not a lot. A few times a week. And I genuinely feel like it's making a difference to my skin. And it's another small ritual for me where I think and I know that I'm taking care of myself. And the funniest thing is when I've like this year I've added these things into my world. And I have been on two separate occasions where I am around a group of women that I don't know, and we were chatting, and someone out of the blue said to me, your skin actually looks like it's glowing. And I was like, what? This is like the best feedback ever. You don't know me, so you don't know what I do. You don't know my life. You don't know how crazy it is. You don't know that I run a business. Someone just said it out of the blue, and I was like, yes, this just made me feel so good. And I was like, I think I walked on a cloud for like 2 weeks after that. But it's the little things that I do through the week, and I am certain it is down to all of these things that I'm talking about with you today. And when you get compliments like that, it's not huge, but it just fuels a fire to show up more, to you are confident because of these things. So this Plump Up microneedle tool, I'm going to link to this in the show notes, but if you are listening and you're wondering, I'm going to have this as a blog with links and everything on my podcast. Nothing is sponsored at all. I just know that it's helped me. So I just want to share it with you, and I'm going to put it in a blog so that you can see what they look like and where to get them from as well, because I genuinely think it's helped so much. The next one I want to say is I prioritize my sleep. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, how do you do that? But usually on a Monday night and a Tuesday night, I work late, and that's just the way it is, and a Sunday night. But then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I sleep hard. And I know that you can't bank sleep, but I make it a priority. That is how my week works. My body knows that. And so on those days, I guard my sleep like a business strategy. Okay. Because honestly, it is. And I protect that energy. I'm in bed by, I want to say 10 o'clock. And I sleep until my kids get up about 6:30. So for me, that's what I need. And I think that that is a game changer. So, yes, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday nights, I work hard, and I'm okay with that. And that's how my life flows. And then I have full work days, Tuesday, Wednesday, with a bit of interruptions in between. But the rest of the time, my mama bear hat is on, and I love that. The next thing I want to say, and this is a little bit different, but I do protect my mental space. So I do not have my phone on me all the time. Okay, because that's a distraction. It annoys me. I have zero notifications on my phone because I think that I'll get to them when I get to them. Okay, when I choose, not when I am being reactive. I turn them off, and I don't have emails on my phone. You've probably heard me say that before. If you listen to the podcast for a while now, I haven't had them on for years, and it's the best thing ever. And I like last weekend, I do little things, not always get a massage, but I had some foot reflexology, and I think that that is super amazing. I'm not a big meditator. My meditation is out like track and field. All right. My meditation is lifting weights. My meditation is in the gym. My meditation is on my run. That is my form of meditation. And if you can meditate, good on you. I have tried and I love listening to meditation audio, and I'll do that while I'm doing something else, but just to think about things in a different way. But I've learned to stop, pushing through and start tuning in, but in my different way. Okay. So that's without my phone. That is just without tech. Okay. So that is my protecting my mental space to just focus on my kids and what they need and myself. And then when the time is right, I lean into, okay, at the end of the day or whatever, I'll look at it and I'll go, I have to respond to this person, and this person. So if you're a friend of mine and you're listening and you wonder why I don't get back to you, that's why, because I really need to protect my mental space. When you have three young children all crying or wanting something from you at the same time, if you are not calm, if you have not done all of these things, for me, I will have like a proper implosion. And I have learned over the years it just doesn't work. So I protect, I nurture to be able to protect that mental space and that load. And I think it's the best thing ever. Now, on top of those other things, I have a cleaner, I get someone to mow the lawns. But other than that, I do everything. I try and cook really healthy for my family so that everyone's mood is good. And it kind of is a happy home. Now, I'm not saying it's not crazy. It is crazy, like batshit crazy. I have three children under 4.5. Okay. And they're boys. So it is crazy. The last thing I kind of want to say is I protect my energy. So I protect my mental space and I protect my energy. So what does that mean? It means saying no. So I can't do more than one extracurricular outing a weekend. Okay, I used to be able to before I had kids, but I cannot do more than one because it does not flow in my world. My kids need their mama bad. And so I need to be around. And going out more than once, most of the time I don't even do that, right? But it means not overbooking my calendar. It means tuning in and trusting myself and when I need a reset. And I also think that regardless of what stage of life you are at, I also think that that comes with age. Okay. So you realize as you get older that saying no is okay. All right. And it depends what season you're in as well. But for me, it means tuning in and realizing that. And, all of these health things that I'm doing, I'm protecting myself. I don't want to age. I want to just stay as youthful as possible without the need to do anything else to my body like foreign. So I don't agree with it, and that's okay. That's my view. Anything like Botox or anything like that, I just think what kind of message would I be sending? And that's my opinion. So I am entitled to that. This is my podcast. And yeah, I'm happy with what I'm doing to be able to nourish my body, my soul, my mental space, to be able to be an absolute badass boss in my business, to help as many people as I possibly can, to operate at the most optimal that I possibly can with my health and my wellness, and also have a beautiful humming home with my crazies. So I think, how does this like link and tie all back into business? Well, when I feel well, I show up better. I've got more clarity to make big decisions, and I need to make decisions fast. Okay, because I have not a lot of time, and that's what I do. I make decisions quickly so I can just keep moving forward. And that's how things work. And that's how I do what I do. If I decide I'm going to record something, I come in and I do it. I have more energy to serve my clients. I am more creative to build out offers and create content. And I am more in flow. And when I'm depleted, guys, everything feels harder. we overthink. I overthink. I delay. I procrastinate. I lose momentum. That's a shit place to be. And I know that that version of me doesn't serve anyone, doesn't serve me, doesn't serve anyone in my family. So the way I see it, prioritizing my wellness isn't just self-care, it is business care. And there is no two ways about it. And I think if you want to think bigger picture, taking care of yourself in this season for me, so when I'm juggling kids and clients, it's not selfish, it's super smart, it's protective, it's necessary. And I don't think that you need a whole day spa. You just need small, consistent acts that remind your body, that remind your brain and your soul that you matter no matter what. And it's so nice, even if it is a cup of tea. So I've got a cup of peppermint tea here with me while I'm recording this podcast. I'm doing it in the day, which is so like abundant and lovely. And I'm all for that. And if you've been following me for a while, you'll start to see that this focus on health and wellness is going to be showing up more in my business. I've got something coming soon that aligns deeply with all of this. So stay tuned. I think I want to say if this resonated with you, this episode of the podcast, let me know. Okay. I love hearing what lands. Message me on Instagram, share it with someone that needs a reminder. These are good ideas that you can incorporate into your busy day that aren't going to send you for six. It is just little things that you can add in, that you can habit stack into your day that make you feel amazing, that help you perform better. And, that help you show up as the, magnetic and superhero version of yourself to be able to grow your business in a way that feels good. You don't have to do it all, but you do have to take care of you because you only get one body. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you next week for another episode of the Hayley Osborne Show.